Hello students, this is a demo of how to do the reflections in the water on our cityscape. This is one that is completed, and now I'll show you the one that is from the beginning. Before we do that though, I just want you to notice that the reflections are in this small section down here, and the reflection matches not only the shape of the building, so here it's angled up, therefore here it's angled down, but it also matches the height. This end here is higher than that one. That end is higher than that one. If we look up here, this end is taller than that one, therefore the reflection, this one is longer than that one. You'll also notice that the line direction here is all sideways. Those are three things we're going to be keeping track of when we work on ours. Our first step when doing the reflections actually has nothing to do with the water. We want to make sure that our city has been blended, and when we blend, we want to make sure that we blend over the edge of the line that we scraped. We also want to make sure that if we scraped over the line that we clean it up. So I'm going to zoom into this side here. You can see where I have not blended into the edge there and where I've also blended over the edge. So I'm going to take my Q-tip and I'm going to blend just to be a little bit more precise here. Okay. Now I'm going to clean up the edges with my tool. While working at home, you're probably not going to have access to this fancy scratch art tool, but no worries, that's okay. You can do scratching with a toothpick. You can do scratching with a paper clip that's opened up. So I've got a paper clip right here. This one actually wouldn't work because it's plastic, but a metal one, you just open it up like this. And then you can use this to scrape, okay? It just takes a little bit longer sometimes. Notice that I'm scraping just a little bit of the background off to make it look like it kind of belongs there. I don't want to have like a thick halo of a line around my whole city, so I just blend that scraping a little bit and just shook off the extra pieces. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to pretend that all of my edges have been made crisp. Once you're done with that, then you may move to the next step, and that is the reflections. So I'm actually going to turn my paper a different direction. I'm going to put mine this way. Okay, I'm right-handed, and I want my water to be over on this side. If you're left-handed, you're going to use your left hand, and the water is going to be on the left. So I'm right-handed. I'm going to use this one. Okay, I've got my oil pastel, and the first thing I'm going to do is look for my tallest building. This is my tallest building. The tallest building reflection is going to go off the bottom. I'm going to do my lines. Remember, all of our lines are going to go straight up and down. When we turn this sideways, the correct way, they'll end up being horizontal lines. Right now, they're all vertical, okay? Up and down, all the way to the edge, and that's your tallest building. The next tallest building is going to come down just a little bit below the edge. So I'm going to stop right there and make sure I have enough of that oil pastel done at the bottom. Remember, the shadows get lighter towards the edge down here, and they're darker at the beginning. And add a little bit more to this guy down here at the beginning. Okay. Next tallest building will probably be this one. That one will stop about there. Remember, height is important. So I just have all of these horizontal lines. Well, they'll end up being horizontal when I flip it the right way. And if we look at the top of this building here, it comes to a little point. Okay, notice I did not draw a big thick line to outline it. I just used my oil pastel to kind of bring it to a little bit of a tip. Okay. Okay, move on to this one. Okay, that building, I'm Go like that. There's another one to the side of it. It can be helpful to have a tool like a pen or pencil or even a ruler to line up with the edge of your building here to make sure that the building is straight that way. You don't want your reflection to end up going sideways. You want it to be nice and straight. So you can just line up a ruler barely touching or just right above your oil pastel. Remember, oil pastel is messy. So that one has the angle like this, because that one has an angle like that too. That one's taller, therefore that one's taller. A little bit more right at the water's edge. Got to get this guy in here too. Comes to a little bit of a tip, because that guy comes to a tip. All right, next step is to do a little bit right along all of the water's edge. So I'm just going to do a little bit, just a few lines. Okay. That is done now. It's ready to be blended. To blend, I'm going to turn it back this direction. I've got my Q-tip, and a dirty Q-tip actually works better than a clean one. So you can even on purpose get it dirty by putting some oil pastel on the end of your Q-tip. I'm going to dip it into my oil, and if you're at home, you may use vegetable oil, canola oil, olive oil, melted coconut oil. Any kitchen oil that you have will work just fine. Butter would be a little tough just because it smells really bad. It can go rancid after a few weeks, so I would not suggest using butter. All right, so now I've got like my dirty Q-tip here with the black on it. It's been dipped in some oil, and I'm going to very lightly touch it along the water's edge first. Okay, I'm going to go along the entire water's edge. It's nice and smooth. This will help you get a hang of blending with this tool as well. Then, with straight lines only, this is when you can be more precise about the shape of your reflections. All of this blending, every single mark that we make, is horizontal. Oh, I forgot about that building. My toothpick was dirty enough, I was able to get some in there. There we go. I've only dipped it in oil once. I may not need to dip it again. That guy's a little bit down there too. And there we have the reflections. If part of it gets too dark, you can take the clean side and just wipe a little bit of it off. I had too much there, so taking some off. A little too much down here too, so I'm taking it off with a clean toothpick or clean Q-tip. All right, and that is how we do the reflections. That's your task for today. Clean the edges of your buildings, do your reflections. After that, you may work on your art inspiration pages.